Hey there, you're watching More Wellness Lifestyle, and I'm your guide, Dr. Kim. And this is the space where you learn to integrate wellness action into your lifestyle practically and purposefully. If you're of a certain age, like me, then chances are you have already experienced at least one major life change. I'm talking about the loss of a job that you thought you'd end your career in, having to take care of aging parents, or maybe even finding yourself at the end of a relationship that you thought would go the distance. Whatever it was, when the dust settled a little bit and you surveyed the scene, you saw a shell of yourself. And let me tell you, life altering events can have that type of an effect on you. They can leave us questioning our paths, our dreams, and even our own self worth. Does this sound like you? Yeah. Okay. Well, come sit with me in my stress free corner of the world for just a few moments, and we're going to discuss how to get your wellness journey back on track after experiencing a major life change. Now, while this conversation is really for anyone, I think it's going to resonate a little bit more with ladies out there who are of a certain age and have lived a bit, and perhaps you have really gone through it. And now you're finding yourself in a space where the dust is settling, you're taking stock, you're looking, you're surveying the scene, and you are literally shell shocked. You may feel stuck, you may feel stagnant, and you're very, very concerned about your future. Well, let me reassure you. Take a deep breath. You are not alone. And sometimes that can be one of the most reassuring thoughts that we can tell ourselves and remind ourselves in seasons of major life change. You are not alone. I'm literally on the back end of a season like this, and it was the most life altering and really the scariest season that I've ever been through in my life. Everything that I thought was going to be isn't anymore. The goals that I had set, the things that I had edified as, sort of things that were going to be part of my life, those things are literally gone. The season was tough. It was life altering, foundation shaking, and I know you know how it feels. And so, with all that being said, just know you're not out here experiencing things like this by yourself. There are other folks who are experiencing it, and while that may not make you feel better per se, I think it helps calm our mind a little bit to know that we're not the only person out here who may feel like we're struggling. Now, what I want you to also remember is that while this particular phase of life or season of life can come with some very unique challenges, it can also present some very interesting opportunities for personal growth, renewal, and joy. So, if the dust is just settling for you, I encourage you to put on a lens of curiosity and really start to look at your life and see where those opportunities to grow and change and expand and to become and to experience joy actually reside. They're still there, okay? They're still there in the midst of all that rubble, but we have to be very intentional about looking for those opportunities. With that being said, let's talk about these practical steps that you can take right now to get your wellness journey back on track after this major life change. Okay, number one is to acknowledge it all. Acknowledge where you are right now. Take a moment to stand around and literally survey the scene. Because sometimes when we've been through something life altering and it's felt really painful, it's felt really messy, grimy, dirty, we want to get away from it as soon as possible. I can relate to that. And one of the things that I've learned is until we really just take a moment and look at it and survey it and acknowledge that it happened, acknowledge that it was messy, that it hurt, that someone hurt us, that we've experienced a loss, until we acknowledge it, we actually can't move forward effectively. The challenge with that is that by our 40s, society tells us that we should have already figured all of this out, right? And it's actually comical if you think about it, but we're all on a journey. But society tells us that we should have our families under control, our careers are set, everything that we've planned, we should be checking boxes. And that's a really unfair standard. We know from experience that life does not follow a script, honey. And let me tell you something, when you thought you had the script under control, you knew where it was going, that's when life will take a left, and now you're doing something that was not even remotely close to what you thought you would be doing. But here's the thing, every single event that you've been through has a purpose. Yes, yes, it does. And I know you probably hate when people tell you that, especially when what you've been through has been so painful or so draining or so life altering. Trust me, I understand how that feels. And everything still has a purpose. Despite the aftermath, despite the hurt, these events are literally for a purpose, and they are shaping you and building resilience in you and helping you become the woman who you need to be for your future. And that leads me to number 2. Assess your resilience. Y'all, resilience is not just a buzzword. It is literally a powerful quality that you possess. And do not get me wrong, I am not tapping into the strong black woman stereotype or trope. I'm not telling women to take on everyone else's burdens to show that they are resilient. No, I'm just talking about you. Look at your life and look at what you have overcome. Look at how you did it. Look at how you've already shown yourself that you can come back from something. Look at how you've healed from past hurts. All of that is evidence of your resilience. And resilience is such an important quality when you are walking out your wellness journey in a very successful way. You've got to learn how to give yourself credit for knowing how to pick yourself up after a setback. Look back over your life and look at the times when you've already done this. That is you being resilient. And although right now you feel like you don't have it to give, trust me when I tell you it's in there. And we have to learn how to trust ourselves a little bit more and understand that we can actually move through this pain, move through this setback because we are resilient. Now, the third action that I want you to take is to do an honest inventory of your life. Now, just saying that out loud, it can sound incredibly daunting, but let me tell you something, it's actually extremely liberating. Being honest with yourself about what's working in your life and what's not working in your life, it is like a revelation that will literally free you. And the only way through this step is to be brutally honest with yourself about what's working and what's not. Are there aspects of your life that you have truly outgrown? Are you holding on to patterns or relationships that no longer serve you? Please stop and take inventory and be honest. And again, let me be clear, this is not about blaming yourself, because once you have a more clear picture about what you need to keep and what you need to release in your life, your focus shifts and you can actually see where you need to be putting your energy and where you need to be reserving your energy. Now, while you're taking inventory of your life, I also want you to be willing to take charge where you can. This might involve setting boundaries, and that can be tough, but we've got to learn how to practice that. And it's probably going to involve you saying no. Do not be afraid to say no to things that drain you. And full transparency, this has been one of the hardest things I've had to learn. But once we do it, again, very liberating. And that is what you want to experience. Liberation on your wellness journey. When you take charge, you are literally prioritizing tasks and commitments and other things in your life that actually align with your values and who you are in this moment. You do not have to be who you used to be. And assessing your life helps you get clear on who you are right now. Just gonna have a little sip of tea. Okay, next up is I want you to acknowledge the power of small changes. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight because wellness is literally about manageable steps. So maybe carve out a few moments in each day for self-care or for prayer, meditation, a walk in nature, which I personally love, or maybe rediscover that hobby that you've neglected. And be willing to ask yourself, what is it that I enjoy in this season of my life? And understand that what made you happy 6 months ago or 2 years ago might not be the thing that you're vibing with right now. And that evolution and that change is perfectly normal. Small changes can actually create pockets of joy that have a ripple effect across our lives and actually help elevate our mood and our whole outlook. So work on those small changes. Up next is to trust and be kind to yourself. Now, I believe that trust and kindness work together. At a certain point, I know that maybe trusting yourself was broken down a little bit because you were making decisions along the way, and the end result was something that felt very catastrophic to you, hence that major life change. But what I want to encourage you to do is to get back to a sense of trust in yourself. Trust the path that you're on. Trust the process that is unfolding in your life. Remember, nothing is ever wasted. Everything has purpose. So the great things and the awful things are all coming together for your good. Have faith that you will get to where you are meant to be. Trust that you possess the inner strength and the resourcefulness to handle whatever might come your way. When you trust yourself, you can be kind to yourself. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're being very unkind to ourselves. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We are our own harshest critics, right? So we've got to stop and really start paying attention to that inner dialogue, that inner critic, that negative self talk, and all those other things that create very unkind climates for us in our life. Pay attention to your inner dialogue and challenge any negative, self defeating thoughts. Work to replace them with affirming, self loving messages. Celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how small they seem. Acknowledge your efforts and your process. Being kind and self compassionate is not indulgence, it's self preservation. Learn how to preserve yourself in this season of uncertainty by being kind to you. Okay, next up, I want you to get yourself into a community of like minded individuals who inspire and uplift you. When you're coming off a really tough season, positive relationships and social interactions are so important. And let me tell you something, this was the most difficult step for me to actually take in my process of recovery after the life altering changes. I literally did not want to people. Okay, I'm naturally an introvert. I enjoy being social, but something shifted in me after all of this happened, and I was finding myself in a space where I just didn't really know if I trusted people anymore. And so, learning to kind of come out of your space, get back into spaces with other people, and remembering that the most of people are actually good. The most of people want to see you do well, and that there are communities out there who can support you and uplift you and speak life into you. This is so very important. So please do not isolate. This is why at the beginning of the video I said you are not alone, because I really do think that that negative self-talk that can sometimes take root in our minds will tell us that what happened to us is happening to us specifically and individually, like it's never happened to anybody else. No one else can help us, and we've got to figure it out for ourselves. And y'all know that's a lie, right? Okay. So don't sit at home having a pity party. If at all possible, if you can press your way out, find a group that maybe has gone through what you've gone through. If you are drained from caregiving, find a caregiving support group. If you've gone through a divorce, find a divorce support group, but do it in a way that feels safe and genuine to you. I am not advocating that you put yourself in spaces that make you feel unsteady or don't match your values or where you're really going at this point. But what I am saying is that you can't isolate. You can't stay at home and try to nurse and recover from these things. Get in community and start to restore that social element in your life. Never underestimate the power of genuine connections to spark joy and to encourage resilience in your life. Okay, I hope these actions are helpful to you. And if something that we talked about today resonated with you, share it with me in the comments. Tell me what you learned. Tell me what you're going to do first. And let's keep having this conversation about how to come back after a major life change. And please, please remember that life is a journey. Much like this wellness process that you're undertaking, it's a journey. It is not a destination. There will be ups and downs, there will be hilltops and valleys, and you are perfectly positioned to go through it all with poise and grace and joy and growth and all of the things that you are searching for in your life. Your life is not over. Stay open to new experiences and new possibilities. Be willing to experience something new, venture out, try something you've never tried before, and most importantly, grace yourself. Grace yourself daily with kindness so that you can grow from even the things that have felt so terribly painful in this season. Own where you are, be gentle with yourself, and trust the journey. You are so much more powerful than you think. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this message provided you with some comfort and some inspiration. I'll see you guys in the next video.